Welcome back to Mythic Manhwa Recaps. We have seen Mugyeol dismantle every champion in his path, but his psychological war against Chairman Jang is only just beginning. If you're joining us for the first time, you can catch up on his triple weight last conquest in the previous part linked above. Now, let's see how our champion handles the chairman's desperate attempt to freeze him out of the game. August 17th. The date is cast in stone. 100. It is a stage built for violence. The main event is set. Han Dae-gyun vs Cha Mugyeol. In the game, the air is heavy. It tastes like anxiety. Not for Mugyeol, but for his manager. Jin Man stares at his phone. His mind races through the brutal math of the situation. This is a title match. There is no warm-up. No preliminary bouts to test the waters. Mugyeol is being thrown directly into the deep end against a monster. A creature who shatters ribs and crushes spirits without mercy. Jin Man voices the fear. He remembers the sound of bones breaking. He remembers his own helplessness. To face such a thing without preparation is suicide. But preparation is the problem. Chairman Jang has poisoned the well. His influence chokes every game in the country. No domestic fighter dares to spar with Cha Mugyeol. They have been blacklisted. The doors are closed. Desperation breeds innovation. Jin Man looked beyond the borders. He reached out to Thailand. He sought mercenaries who care more for coin than local politics. But the answer walks through the door before the question is fully asked. Two foreigners enter the den. They carry the distinct, heavy atmosphere of seasoned predators. Jin Man is confused. But Mugyeol watches them with analytical coldness. These are not the mercenaries. The tall one with long hair is Kyle Chandler. The younger one beside him is Ben Chandler. They are not here by accident. They were sent by the apex of the fighting world. Dave White, president of the What. Mugyeol had refused an immediate contract. He chose to settle his debts in blood on Korean soil first. But he made a request. He asked for sparring partners. He did not expect the response to arrive so quickly. And Chandler steps forward. He attempts to speak Korean, but the words are clumsy. He greets Mugyeol with a smile. But the smile does not reach his eyes. Beneath the polite surface, there is an assessment happening. They are measuring the livestock. President Dave White gave them a simple directive. Go to Korea. Train with Cha Mugyeol for 3 months. If they show potential during this exile, they get their shot. Undercard matches in the Y. It is a test for everyone involved. Ben wastes no time. He has no interest in resting. He wants to feel the level of this game immediately. He demands to spar. Mugyeol accepts. They step into the ring. The atmosphere shifts instantly. Ben Chandler is a product of elite competition. An all-American wrestler. A boxer since middle school. 7 straight wins in the National University rankings. He moves with a fluidity that defies his size. The bell rings. Mugyeol realizes the difference between a local bully and a world-class athlete. Ben closes the distance with terrifying speed. His background in gymnastics gives him an unnatural elasticity. He strikes from angles that defy expectation. Mugyeol is forced onto the defensive. He blocks. But the impact rattles his bones. Ben is relentless. He drives Mugyeol into the corner. He executes a takedown that leaves no room for escape. The technique is flawless. Mugyeol is pinned. The pressure is immense. Mugyeol taps out. There is no shame in his eyes. Only the cold realization effects. This is the wall of the world stage. Ben stands over him. He is barely winded. He is disappointed. He expected more. To him, Mugyeol is just a boy in a small gym in a forgotten corner of the world. Ben is a professional. He feels he is being wasted here. The sparring continues. It is a massacre. Ben utilizes explosive blows and rubber-like agility. Mugyeol is knocked down. Again. And again. He cannot land a clean hit. The Gabon experience is a chasm. When the session ends, the Chandler brothers leave the gym. The sun has set, but their frustration burns bright. Kyle, the older brother, vents his anger. He cannot understand why Dave White exiled them to this place. 3 months feels like a lifetime to waste on a fighter who appears mediocre. Ben tries to be diplomatic. He calls Mugyeol kind. But kindness does not win championships. Kyle strikes a punching bag outside a shop. The sound echoes like a gunshot. He quotes a champion. There are levels to this sport. They have fought men who drugged themselves to feel no pain. And they won. They belong in the big leagues. They belong in the way. To them, Cha Mugyeol is barely a blip on the radar. They believe their true journey hasn't even started. Back in the darkened game, Mugyeol remains alone. He sits on the canvas. Sweat pools around him. The silence returns. The brothers were right. The level is different. Mugyeol possesses the memories of a fighter, but his current body is still playing catch-up. He acknowledges the bitter truth. He felt proud of defeating the thugs of the Rai. But against the true predators of the world, he is still prey. He needs to be stronger. The desire for power triggers a response. A blue light flickers in his vision. The system speaks. Due to constant training and the intensity of the sparring, a threshold has been crossed. Status update. Kick ability has increased to level A. Notification. All skills are now level C or above. The system does not stop there. It senses the hunger in its host. A new window opens. Second challenge mission is now available. Cost: 1,500 points. Reward 1. Skill proficiency. Reward 2. 200 points. Reward 3 is obscure. Mugyeol stares at the screen. The corner of his mouth lifts. He recognizes this sensation. It is the same mechanism that allowed him to evolve before. The path to power has opened again. He accepts the challenge. The world dissolves into white. Fever time begins. 1,500 points vanish. The world dissolves into white. The simulation, fever time, begins. He stands in the void. Across from him is a blue spectral opponent. A construct of pure data and violence. Mugyeol barely breathes before the phantom closes the distance. There is no mercy here. No referee to save him. The phantom strikes. Mugyeol is floored. The gap isn't a crack. It is a canyon. He realizes with a bitter jolt that he hasn't even started climbing the mountain of martial arts. The system is cold. Notifications flash. Kick ability. Levels. To the system, he is improving. To the world, the level is barely a foundation. Real world. The game. The atmosphere is heavy with unspoken judgment. Mugyeol spars. He sweats. He bleeds. Ben offers empty encouragement. But Kyle, the wrestler, offers only silence. He watches Mugyeol with a gaze that strips away the effort. He sees a boy playing a man's game. To Kyle, Mugyeol isn't a future champion. He is a waste of time. Mugyeol ignores the doubts. He returns to the white void. 2 days remain. The difficulty spikes. Mixed martial boxing hits B+. But the cost is his soul. Recovery items are dwindling. The challenge becomes a suffocating weight. Failure is his only companion. Attempt 69. Mugyeol lies on the digital canvas, staring at the white ceiling. Lost again. But in the silence, the pieces click. Boxing. Kicks. Jiu-jitsu. Wrestling. He uses them as separate tools. Clumsy. Disconnected. To survive, he must forge them into a single chain. He remembers a spar with Kyle. The power of a lie. A fake motion forces a reaction. It opens a path. If he hesitates, he loses. He must turn his weakness into a trap. Attempt 87. Grip too weak. Failure. Attempt 91. Fake kick. The phantom sees it. Counter. Failure. Attempt 95. Volume punch into a low kick. Caught in a guillotine. Darkness takes him. Knockout. Attempt 98. The counter is running out. This is the edge of the cliff. Mugyeol steps in. A new rhythm. He throws a fake. The phantom's guard goes up. Split second. Mugyeol drops levels. Shoot for the legs. Tackle. Perfect. The phantom hits the ground. Mugyeol doesn't hesitate. He secures the mount. He rains down strikes until the simulation shatters. Victory. Notifications flood in. Second challenge mission success. 2,000 points. Evaluation rating. Another 1,000 points. He has clawed his way up from the bottom of the barrel. But reality doesn't award points. It awards cold, hard truths. The next day, the game feels final. Kyle and Ben are packing. Not for training. For departure. Kyle delivers the verdict without malice, which makes it cut deeper. They are leaving. Today is the last day. Mugyeol is stunned. He asks why. Kyle is blunt. Urgent matches are approaching. They need real preparation. Training with a novice. A luxury they can no longer afford. Kyle has wrestled for 10 years. Ben is an Olympian. Diligence is cute, but diligence doesn't win fights in the cage. They have nothing to gain from him. Kyle turns to leave. The verdict is passed. Mugyeol does not move. He speaks to the man's back. It isn't too late to spar with me. Then decide. Kyle stops. The audacity hangs in the air. A rookie challenging a veteran to prove his worth. It is desperate. It is foolish. Kyle sighs. Patience thin. He turns to accept the challenge. To crush the delusion once and for all. But a hand stops him. Then steps forward. Kyle, let me do it first. Then looks at Mugyeol. He sees the desperation. He knows a transformation overnight is impossible. But he respects the fire. I won't go easy on you, Ben warns. Even if this is the last time. Mugyeol raises his fists. The stance is different now. The hesitation is gone. The simulation has burned away the fear. That is exactly what I want. His eyes are dark, focused. He doesn't care if they believe him. He doesn't care about their 10 years of experience. He is done with simulations. Whether he has changed or not, he will show them now. The talk is over. The violence begins. The simulation ends. Reality takes its place. Then lunges. He expects the trembling, timid boy from yesterday. He finds a ghost. Mugyeol slips the attack. His movement is minimal, efficient. Ben's momentum carries him into the void where his target used to be. Mugyeol counters. A clean impact. But he does not retreat to admire his work. He steps in. The distance vanishes. He wraps his arms around Ben's upper body. A clinch. It is tight. It is suffocating. Ben is paralyzed, his offense strangled before it can begin. Ben breaks away, desperate for space. He needs range to strike. He thinks he has reset the board. He is wrong. Mugyeol closes the gap instantly. The clinch returns. Ben's thoughts scatter. He wonders why a novice is using such advanced pressure. He wonders why he cannot breathe. Mugyeol does not give him time to find answers. Short punches fly from the grapple, chipping away at Ben's resolve. Ben tries to overwhelm Mugyeol with a rush of strikes. It is a mistake. Mugyeol reads the trajectory. He steps through the storm. A sweep of the leg. Gravity does the rest. They hit the canvas, but only one man is in control. Mugyeol dominates the position. Ben is drowning on dry land. Ben scrambles to his feet. Panic setting in. He throws a backhand. A wild, desperate strike. Mugyeol predicted it before the muscle even twitched. He ducks under the limb. He takes the back. His arm snakes around the neck. The choke is locked. The blood flow stops. Ben taps the floor. The fight is over. Ben gasps for air, his reality shattered. He looks at Mugyeol with fear and confusion. He asks how a novice became a master in a single night. He asks if Mugyeol found enlightenment. Mugyeol offers a hollow smile. He admits to something like that. The monster inside him remains silent. Kyle watches from the sideline. The long-haired fighter scoffs. He sees only a fluke. He sees the mystery of the East, or perhaps just luck. Ben warns him. Ben tells him that the boy is a different person entirely. But arrogance is a powerful blender. Kyle refuses to listen. He steps into the ring. Kyle is a wrestler. He trusts his grip. He trusts his weight. He tells Mugyeol to show him what he has. Mugyeol obliges. They collide. Kyle reaches for the grapple. He intends to crush the striker. But as his hands make contact, the information travels up his arms. The shoulders are too solid. The center of gravity is immovable. Kyle's instincts scream that something is wrong. He denies them. He tries to rationalize the strength of the prey. Mugyeol shifts his stance. A low kick snaps into Kyle's calf. The wrestler's leg buckles. The pain is sharp. Immediate. Kyle's attention drops to his lower half. It is a fatal error. Mugyeol's leg rises again. It looks like a front kick. Kyle prepares to block the center. The leg twists in midair. A question mark kick. The trajectory deforms, curving over the guard. The heel slams into the side of Kyle's head. Kyle stumbles. His vision swims. He realizes too late that he is not the hunter. He throws a knee straight. A desperate attempt to interrupt the flow. Mugyeol does not dodge. He steps into the danger. He catches the wrestler in a clinch. Kyle panics. He tries to use his wrestling expertise. He tries to drag Mugyeol down, to bring the fight to the ground where he believes he is king. He pulls with all his might. Mugyeol explodes. With a burst of raw power and technique, he shoves Kyle away. The wrestler's grip is broken like dry twigs. Kyle stumbles back, his eyes wide. He stares at the boy who just brute forced his way out of a wrestler's trap. The realization finally hits him. This is no fluke. This is a massacre waiting to happen. The temperature drops. Kyle feels it. The realization hits him like a sudden freeze. His wrestling. His territory. It's been invaded. He stares at the monster across from him, and for the first time, doubt creeps in. He tries to step back, to reassess. But in the ring, hesitation is a death sentence. Mugyeol doesn't wait. A low kick lashes out. Shin digs into thigh. Kyle winces. The pain is sharp. He mediates. A warning of the brutality to come. Desperation forces his hand. Kyle thinks attacking is the only way out. He throws a punch. Heavy. Committed. But Mugyeol is already inside. The clinch snaps shut, wrapping the wrestler up instantly. Kyle recognizes the feeling. It's the same suffocating pressure that dismantled his brother. He tries to work inside, but he is outclassed. Mugyeol drives short, chopping blows into his ribs, draining the air, breaking the rhythm. At medium range, he gets picked apart. At close range, he gets battered. There is nowhere safe. Kyle gambles everything on one last takedown. He drops his level, screaming internally to bring this to the ground. But the monster anticipates the desperation. He stuffs it effortlessly, sprawling, driving his weight down. The hunter becomes the prey. Mugyeol spins. He takes the back, limbs moving like a constrictor snake. He locks in the grip. The anaconda. Kyle's vision blurs. The pressure on his neck is absolute. A vice of bone and muscle. Legs flail against the air. But the darkness is inevitable. From the sidelines, Ben watches in silence. Alpha Gate. He is witnessing the impossible. His brother, a titan, has been silenced. The hold releases. Mugyeol stands over the gasping wrestler. Barely winded. He offers a hand. Kyle looks up, terror mingling with exhaustion. He mutters thanks for the delicate choke. Mugyeol laughs. But there is no warmth in it. Just enough pressure to shut the lights out. Nothing more. Kyle tries to save face. He admits they lost this time. But the correction is immediate. There was no this time. He has beaten the Chandler brothers consecutively. All week. 2 wins against the best in the world. The hierarchy of this game has been rewritten in sweat and blood. Kyle bristles, his pride stinging. But Mugyeol cuts him down with words sharper than fists. He scolds the American, asking if he plans to return home a loser. An embarrassment. The taunt lands. Kyle is furious. But he cannot deny the truth. Then, the shift. A truce. A partnership. They have sparred. They have bled. Now, they can help each other ascend. Elsewhere, the machinery of professional fighting turns. Mugyeol sits with Moro Dulce, a specialist in the science of the body. The plan is brutal. Cut 12 kilograms of mass, but the true weapon is the regain. Dulce produces a fluid pack, banned in the major American leagues. But here, the rules are lax. This is the loophole. Rapid rehydration after the weigh-in. Mugyeol will step into the octagon weighing 97 kilograms, fighting a middleweight match with the body of a heavyweight. Tactical supremacy secured before the first punch is thrown. Meanwhile, the champion is restless. Dae-gyun stares at his phone. Reports confirm the Chandler brothers were at Mugyeol's gym. He realizes his opponent is sharpening his claws against elite competition. Un's mind is weak. His trainer warns him about the weight cut, urging patience, discipline. But the champion is arrogant. He demands shortcuts, refusing to suffer. He asks for chemistry instead of willpower. The solution is dark. Increased concentration of APO. Blood doping. Artificially boosting endurance. Un agrees with a smirk. A champion built on fraud. Willing to inject his victory rather than earn it. The day arrives. Camera flashes illuminate the divide. Mugyeol arrives in black. Thicker. Denser. His neck reinforced with new muscle. Ready for war. Un arrives with an entourage, projecting a curated image of superiority. The reporters are sharks, sensing blood. They ask Mugyeol about the rumors. He doesn't hide. He confirms it openly. He trained with the best to destroy the man sitting across from him. Attention shifts to the champion. Who are your partners? Han freezes. He refuses to answer, claims it's strategy. But the room senses the evasion. Whispers ripple through the crowd. He looks insecure. A coward hiding his hand while his opponent lays his cards on the table. Han tries to deflect. He sneers, mocking Mugyeol's transparency, calling it amateurish. Then, he gets personal, calling Mugyeol a toxic entity. A clown who cares more about fame than the sport. A distraction. The trash talk is excessive, bordering on desperate. Mugyeol listens in silence, face unrebel. When he speaks, the voice is steady. He starts with false politeness, respecting the senior opinion. Then, the predator strikes. Eyes narrow. He suggests that Han's anger looks a lot like envy. The champion's face twists in shock. Mugyeol continues, dismantling the ego with surgical precision, calling the advice baseless, old-fashioned, asking, with a condescending smile, if he should give the senior some tips on how to become famous. The final blow lands. Mugyeol reminds him, simply by stepping into the cage with him, Han will finally get the fame he craves. Han is left speechless, trembling with rage. He tried to humiliate the outcast, but he only exposed his own insecurity. The mental battle is over. Mugyeol has won. Now, only the violence remains. The psychological dismantling of Han Dae-jin continues. Mugyeol Cha does not raise his voice. He doesn't need to. He simply peels back the layers of the champion's insecurity. He suggests that Han is nothing more than a puppet, a dog performing tricks for an owner who holds the leash tight around his neck. The champion stiffens. His professionalism erodes under the weight of the truth. Then, the topic shifts. The isolation. Mugyeol addresses the room. He highlights the suspicious silence in Korea, the absence of sparring partners. He accuses the refugee branch of deliberate interference, a blockade designed to leave him unarmed. Han Dae-jin scoffs. He calls the accusation pathetic. He demands proof. He believes his influence has buried the bodies deep enough. But Mugyeol doesn't need documents. He invokes a name. Seok-jin Man. The atmosphere in the press room freezes. The reporters know the name. Mugyeol exposes the timeline. Seok-jin Man was the only fighter brave enough to stand with the outcast. Shortly after, his ankle ligaments were torn. A session at the champion's gym. Han Dae-jin is notorious for his brutality. He injures partners under the guise of practice. But Mugyeol lays the accusation bare. This was no accident. The champion intentionally crippled a fellow fighter just to deprive the challenger of a resource. It was a strategic removal. The champion feigns outrage, but his eyes betray him. Fear flickers behind the mask. Mugyeol reveals that the sabotage was futile. Through connections with Dave White, the cavalry arrive. The Chandler brothers from the United States. The champion's attempt to starve him out has failed completely. Mugyeol leans into the microphone. He offers no gratitude for the adversity. Instead, he issues a promise. For the sin of ruining Seok-jin Man's leg, there will be retribution. He declares that once they step into the octagon, Han Dae-jin will not be walking out. The threat is absolute. Han's hand spasms. The plastic water bottle on the table crumples, crushed under the pressure. His composure is shattered. Time moves forward. The weigh-in. Mugyeol Cha steps onto the scale. 85 kilograms. Lean. Sharp. His preparation is flawless. Han Dae-jin follows. He also hits 85 kilograms. But the mirror tells a different story. He is massive. Far larger than the numbers suggest. Mugyeol observes the unnatural dehydration. The champion has used diuretics to drain his body dry, cutting weight dangerously. By the time the bell rings, Han will have regained 10 kilograms of mass. It is a desperate tactic to secure a size advantage. Mugyeol is unimpressed. He sees the conditioning coach. He predicts the strategy. It changes nothing. The outcast knows he has already won. High above the arena, the numbers roll in. Chairman Zhang observes the data. 105,000 pay-per-view purchases. 18,000 tickets sold. A financial triumph. The old man watches Mugyeol with predatory eyes. He acknowledges the boy's value as a money maker. However, he desires control. He whispers a wish into the dark. He wants Mugyeol to suffer a single defeat. A loss would break the boy's spirit. It would finally allow the chairman to attach a leash. The night of the fight arrives. The octagon is bathed in blinding light. The crowd roars. hungry for violence. Before the referee signals the start, an interviewer steps into the cage. He asks the champion for his strategy. Han Dae-jin refuses to answer. He hides his fear behind a mask of secrecy. The microphone turns to Mugyeol. He does not hide. He tells the world exactly what he will do. He intends to target the legs. He will destroy the champion's foundation until standing becomes impossible. The interviewer stammers, suggesting that broadcasting the plan will allow Han to prepare a defense. Mugyeol stares into the camera. His eyes are dead calm. He states that he does not care. Let the champion try to block it. The inevitability of the destruction is the point. He mocks the championship belt, calling it a heavy stone without meaning. He mocks the champion's gray underwear, suggesting it was a wise choice for concealing the blood that will soon flow. The interview ends. The formalities are over. The referee steps back. The main event over 100 begins. There is no feeling out process. Both fighters rush toward the center. Han Dae-jin, seeking to assert dominance early, throws a heavy low kick. It is a powerful strike, backed by the weight he regained overnight. Mugyeol does not evade. He plants his foot. He raises his lead leg, turning his shin outward to meet the attack. Bone crashes against bone. A perfect check. The impact reverberates through the cage. The champion's leg stops dead against the challenger's defense. Shock flashes across Han Dae-jin's face. The hunter has stepped into a trap the moment the gate opened. The dissection has moved from the mind to the body. The snare catches. The teeth slam shut. The check was perfect. Bone clashes against bone. But the pain is one-sided. Mugyeol doesn't blink. While Han Dae-jin reels from the impact, the counter flies. A low kick digs deep into the calf. The dissection has begun. From the stands, the eyes of the keen see the light. The anomaly. Han Dae-jin is larger than the record's claim. Through every hydration, a cheat banned in the leagues, but ignored in this circus, he has bloated his frame. He walks into the cage a light heavyweight. 100 kilograms of mass designed to crush the smaller man. It is a calculated, cynical advantage. But mass demands attacks. And the currency is speed. Mugyeol sees the sludge in the champion's veins. He sees the heavy steps of a man drowning in his own greed. But this isn't just tactical analysis. It's memory. He remembers the cruelty outside the cage. The broken ankle of the only ally who dared to help him. This isn't a sport. It's a receipt. A debt that must be paid in blood. The champion tries to close the gap. But at range, he is being picked apart. He launches a clumsy kick. Mugyeol vanishes. The outcast counters instantly. Another low kick. The sound is wet and heavy. Like a cleaver striking meat. Han stumbles. The foundation of the tower is cracking. Panic lights up behind his eyes. He can't stand and trade. He rushes forward, desperation fueling a takedown. He wants to use that illegal weight to smother the problem against the canvas. He wraps his arms around the outcast, praying for a grapple. Mugyeol rejects the embrace. He frames against the heavy man. He peels the champion off like a clinging child. And on the break, he punishes. A fist finds the face. Another shin finds the lead leg. The sound creates a vacuum in the arena. A sickening thud. Han's face twists. This isn't the pain of a bruise. It is the screaming of nerves. The crushing of fiber. He is a Muay Thai practitioner. He is conditioned to pain. But his legs are betraying him. His corner screams instructions. Approach him. Kill him. Han obeys, the only hope he has left. He marches. He throws heavy, looping punches meant to decapitate. But he is striking at smoke. Mugyeol wheezes. A duck. A slip. Untouched. The skill gap isn't just wide. It is a public humiliation. The champion tries to mix his arts. He shoots for wrestling. Block. He switches to boxing. Countered. Every attempt creates a bill. And Mugyeol collects, with a surgical low kick. He watches the champion slow down. The verdict is already delivered. Those sluggish kicks aren't threats. They are invitations. Mugyeol steps in. A fist to the gut folds him over. As Han gasps for air, the shin crashes home again. Same target. Same agony. The leg buckles. The inflated weight is too much to bear. Another exchange. A desperate right hand misses. Mugyeol chops the leg again. The champion falls. Not a knockout. A structural failure. He scrambles back up, terror etched on his features. He knows he is being dismantled. He crashes into a clinch against the cage. leaning his weight on the outcast, begging for a second of air. Mugyeol secures the underhook. Total control. Then, he leans in close. He doesn't shout. He speaks with the quiet intimacy of a nightmare. "How is it, Han? Do you think you can still walk on those?" The champion's eyes widen. Mugyeol continues. "I told you. Don't expect to walk out of this cage." The mind breaks first. Han realizes this isn't a match. It's a crippling. Enraged by fear, he punches his way out of the clinch. Mugyeol releases him. Creates space. Then turns. Spins. Momentum flows from the floor, through the hips, into the heel. A spinning back kick connects flush with the face. And collapses. The floor rushes up to meet him. The bell rings. Round 1 ends. Han lies on the canvas, swimming in a haze. His core rushes in, but the damage is done. Across the cage, the hunter sits. Calm. Just still. He hasn't taken a single clean hit. He is immaculate. The contrast is absolute. The champion is broken. His legs are ruined. His spirit is fracturing. In Mugyeol's corner, the coach is ecstatic. He screams about scores. About a 10-8 round. About winning on points. Mugyeol sips some water. Spits it onto the floor. He doesn't care about referees. He doesn't care about the math. He looks at the broken thing across the cage trying to stand. The score is irrelevant. Pass out. That is the only victory he will accept. The execution continues. The VIP section smells like money and suppressed rage. Chairman Jang stares at the cage. His face is a mask of polite calm. But his eyes are screaming. He didn't arrange this match to see a coronation. He paid for a public execution. He wanted to see Mugyeol broken. Humiliated. Begging for his life. Instead, he is watching a predator play with its food. The first round wasn't part of the script. In the corner, the champion gasps for air. Han Dae-jun's lungs are burning. His coach screams advice that feels like an insult. Avoid the low kicks. Useless words. You can avoid the ocean when you're drowning. But Dae-jun snaps back. His pride is still intact, even if his legs are failing. He refuses to listen. He believes he can weather the storm. It is the arrogance of a man who hasn't realized he is already dead. The bell rings. Round 2. Mugyeol steps forward. Dead eyes. No fear. No hesitation. He switches to an orthodox stance. The crowd notices immediately. His left leg is damaged from the previous exchanges. He stands firm, but the bruises tell a story. Dae-jun smiles. He sees a weakness. He assumes Mugyeol will rely on his right leg. A logical assumption. It is also a fatal one. Mugyeol throws a low kick. Dae-jun checks it. Bone cracks against bone. The sound is sickening. Neither man flinches. Dae-jun believes this is a battle of attrition. He thinks his conditioning outweighs the challenger's durability. He rushes in. He closes the distance, trying to smother the kicks with dirty boxing. They collide. Dae-jun is heavy. Brute force. He throws a punch, but Mugyeol is a ghost. The challenger slips the strike. Lands a counter. Dae-jun panics. He shoots for a takedown. He lifts Mugyeol off the canvas, a desperate display of old man strength. He slams Mugyeol down. Scrambles. The champion takes the back. He sinks in a rear naked choke. The arm slides under the chin. The crowd roars. They think the tide has turned. For a second, it looks like Mugyeol made a mistake. But look at his eyes. There is no panic. There is only cold calculation. With a sudden, violent jerk, Mugyeol breaks the grip. He peels the champion off his back like he's removing a sticker. Dae-jun is stunned. He cannot comprehend the difference in strength. Before he can process the escape, Mugyeol is back on his feet. The punishment resumes. Another low kick. Dae-jun checks it. Another. Checked again. The commentators are losing their minds. 20 low kicks in a single match. Mugyeol isn't fighting an opponent. He is chopping down a redwood tree. Dae-jun smiles through the agony. He convinces himself that Mugyeol's shins will shatter first. He invites the damage. He mocks the reaper. Mugyeol obliges. Kick. He hack. Tick. Hack. The rhythm is hypnotic. Thud. 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 It lulls the champion into a false sense of security. Then, the rhythm breaks. Mugyeol faints. Dae-jun braces for the leg strike. A fist crashes into his face. A counter punch. Fleeing. Fast. Dae-jun stumbles. His vision swims. He realizes too late that the checking wasn't working. His left leg has gone silent. The nerves are dead. The muscle is pulp. The debt from round 1 has come due. He tries to step. His body refuses. Panic sets in. The champion looks down at his own limb as if it belongs to a stranger. He thinks about surrender. He rationalizes it. Just tap out. Heal. Revenge later. Just one more block, he thinks. Just survive. But the predator does not negotiate. Mugyeol sees the hesitation. He sees the fear. He launches one final, decisive low kick. It connects. Daejun's leg doesn't just fail. It disintegrates. The structure collapses. The champion falls, his mouth open in a silent scream that eventually finds its voice. He is on the canvas. Helpless. Mugyeol descends. The ground and pound is academic. The referee dives in, waving his arms, saving the champion from permanent deletion. The match is over. 4 minutes. 14 seconds. A knockout victory. The arena explodes. The impossible has happened. A high school student, a rookie in his 3rd professional match, has dismantled the middleweight king. Mugyeol stands over the broken body. He doesn't celebrate. He merely exists. A titan among mortals. The belt is brought out. Chairman Jang enters the cage. The older man forces a smile, a rictus of polite society masking his desire to strangle the boy. He wraps the gold around Mugyeol's waist. The plan has failed. The puppet has cut its strings. The microphone is thrust into Mugyeol's hand. The interviewer asks for his feelings. Mugyeol looks at the crowd, then at the camera. He reminds them of his promise. He said Hun Daejun would not walk out of the octagon. He delivered. But he offers no respect to the fallen. It's not his fault, Mugyeol says calmly. It is not a man's fault if he is born a loser. The silence in the VIP section is deafening. Mugyeol turns his back on the audience. He faces Chairman Jang. His voice booms through the stadium speakers. "Do you remember the favor I asked for?" The chairman plays dumb. He laughs it off. Mugyeol does not laugh. This match was a waste of time. I fought a weakling. This title means nothing, because it was taken too easily. He looks down at the gold belt, then lifts his head high. I signed for a challenge. I found none. Mugyeol makes his announcement. The middleweight division is too small. The prey is too weak. I am moving up. He stares directly at the chairman. I will hunt in the light heavyweight division. He drops the microphone. The declaration hangs in the air, a promise of more violence to come. The chairman's smile finally cracks. The monster is loose, and it is hungry for more. The arena vibrates with the shock of victory. But the center of the storm is cold. Mugyeol Cha stands amidst the noise. He looks down at the championship belt in his hands. He doesn't hold it like a prize. He holds it like a shackle. He lifts the microphone. His voice is steady. It cuts through the murmur of the confused audience like a blade. He tells them the truth. This title means nothing. It is a hollow trophy, taken from a weakling who offered no resistance. To him, the middleweight division is a shallow pond. He has grown too large for these waters. He demands a stronger prey. He formally announces his departure to the light heavyweight division. The silence of the crowd fractures. Confusion turns into a frenzy. They realize this is madness. It is the ultimate expression of dominance. They begin to chant his name. They don't want a sportsman anymore. They want a conqueror. Mugyeol basks in the roar, but his eyes remain fixed on the VIP section, challenging the authority that sits in the dark. Chairman Jen watches from above. His face is a mask of suppressed rage. The puppet he sought to control just cut its own strings. Now, it threatens to burn down the theater. Jin retreats to his office, the cheers for Mugyeol echoing behind him like a taunt. The internet is already ablaze. Users dissect the fight frame by frame. The terrifying speed of the low kicks. The whispers that a professional is slaughtering amateurs. They speculate on his chances against the top 5 of the higher weight class. But in the boardroom, Chairman Jiang isn't interested in fan theories. He is interested in control. His assistant suggests postponing the next match. Let the heat die down. Jiang refuses. To delay is to show weakness. To grant the promotion immediately is to surrender. He chooses a third path. He will force Mugyeol into a mandatory title defense. He will make the boy heal before he is allowed to run. Jin selects the opponent with malicious precision. Immu Tenshin, a fighter from Japan. No history in this organization, but a champion in his own right. Dan reviews the data. Mugyeol has destroyed grapplers. He has destroyed wrestlers. He has never faced a pure, high-level striker. Tenshin is a scalpel intended to bleed the beast. Dan believes he has finally found the leash that will snap around Mugyeol's neck. The press conference is arranged. The contrast is stark. An EU Tenshin says politely. He answers questions with the practiced humility of a traditional martial artist. He acknowledges Mugyeol's strength, but he expresses confidence in his own extraordinary striking skills. He believes in the rules of the sport. Mugyeol sits beside him, empty-handed. A reporter notices the absence. Where is the championship belt? Mugyeol's answer is simple and devastating. He threw it away. He tells the stunned room that his house is too small to store trash. He apologizes to Tenshin, not out of respect, but out of pity. He tells the Japanese fighter that he prepared hard for a title match that does not exist. To Mugyeol, this isn't a competition. It is a bureaucratic formality. It is a mere review session before his real promotion. Tenshin maintains his smile, but the air in the room grows heavy. Mugyeol admits he is annoyed at Chairman Jang for this delay, but he accepts the test. He will prove that the middleweight division is indeed beneath him. The day of the fight arrives. The lights dim. The cage waits. In the commentary booth, a special broadcast is underway. The hosts are joined by Kyle Chandler and Ben, foreign fighters who have returned from training in Korea. They are asked about the challenger, Tenshin. The analysis is technical. Tenshin is a decorated striker, neat boxing skills, carrot-based kicks, an Olympic representative, a man who understands distance and timing better than anyone Mugyeol has faced. The public perception is clear. Mugyeol is a brawler. He will struggle against such refined technique. Fans argue online that Tenshin's boxing is on a higher level. In the booth, Ben laughs. It is a dry, knowing laugh. He tells the host that the idea of Tenshin having better boxing is a joke. The host is skeptical. He reminds Ben of the Olympic pedigree. He asks if Ben is underestimating the Japanese champion. Ben looks at the camera. He corrects the host. The world is not underestimating Tenshin. They are tragically underestimating Mugyeol Cha. Ben reveals the truth of their training camp. He reveals that he and his team, professional fighters, sparred with Mugyeol in pure boxing matches. The host asks who won. Ben clarifies. It was not a matter of winning or losing. It was a matter of survival. He tells the audience that in 87 rounds of sparring, he could not touch Mugyeol even once. He lost every single exchange. 87 rounds of futility. As the truth is spoken in the booth, the bell rings in the arena. Tenshin steps forward, confident in his range, confident in the distance that has always protected him. He throws a strike, the product of a lifetime of discipline. Mugyeol does not respect the distance. He does not respect the discipline. He steps into the fire without hesitation. The collision is instantaneous. The difference in class is not measured in points. It is measured in violence. Mugyeol's counter is a blur that the human eye struggles to track. The Olympic striker, the man chosen by Chairman Jang to be the leash. He is broken in the opening seconds. Blood sprays across the canvas. The strategy of the chairman crumbles. Mugyeol Cha has not just won. He has erased the obstacle. The hunt continues. The silence on the canvas is absolute. Tenshin Inoue built a career on distance and discipline. It took exactly one heartbeat to dismantle it. One overhand strike. Guard bypassed. Lights out. The crowd erupts, stunned by the violence, but the man standing over the body feels nothing. Mugyeol Cha looks down. There is no joy in his eyes. The victory is hollow. The obstacle was too fragile. He grips the microphone. His voice cuts through the hysteria. He does not ask for permission. He issues a command. This was a waste of time. Give me the light heavyweight division. Give me the biggest, strongest monster you have, and give him to me next week. In the shadowed executive office, the air tastes of smoke and failure. Chairman Jang watches the screen. His face twists. The internet is already turning. His organization is being mocked. A league of losers. While Mugyeol Cha is being worshipped, the chairman's assistant delivers the tactical reality. We have no pawns left. The middleweight roster is empty. There is no one left to stall him. Chairman Jang realizes that containment is dead. He must escalate to execution. Bring in Ji Kangju. The door opens. A massive figure blocks the light. The light heavyweight champion. He smiles. A predator smelling blood. He understands the assignment without a word. He isn't being asked to compete. He is being asked to dispose of a problem. But far from the corruption, the true hierarchy is washing. Dave White. Kyle. Bent. The global elite. They sit for an interview, and they speak with terrifying candor. They credit their own improvements to Mugyeol. They tell the world that he is not a local talent. He is a weapon ready for the global stage. The online discourse shifts instantly. Confusion turns to awe. The wake of Mugyeol's progress is littered with broken men. Abraham fled the country before his match even started. Mind shattered. Like a war veteran. Han Daegyeon lies in a hospital bed. Leg encased in a cast. 2 years of recovery. The message is clear. A match with Mugyeol Cha is not a sporting event. It is a forced retirement. Even in the dark server rooms, the resistance breaks. Chae Won-ji, the man paid to suppress the footage, gives up. He cannot delete the truth fast enough. The servers are burning. He realizes the futility. He cannot bet against the new reality. The Earth's management is trapped by its own greed. They meet in panic. If they give Mugyeol a tune-up match, and he loses, they lose their cash cow. So business logic dictates the dangerous path. Skip the line. If he wants to move up, he fights for the title immediately. Just like the legends of old. Mugyeol ignores the politics. He focuses on evolution. The status window glows in the air. Points invested. Jiu-jitsu sharpened. His bones have physically stretched. The system has altered his height. Average score. Plus 5,000 points waiting for the next mission. Kyle and Ben interrupt his solitude. They return to the gym to pay respects. To offer guidance. They see him loading plates onto the bar. Preparing for a deadlift. They offer the wisdom of the elite. Don't chase raw mass. They warn. You need balance. Too much muscle will make you slow. You will lose your agility. Mugyeol listens. But he does not stop. He grips the bar. The weight is immense. A load that should snap a human spine. He lifts it. There is no struggle. There is no shaking. The bar rises with terrifying ease. Muscles engaging with the hydraulic power of a machine. Kyle and Ben stare. Their mouths hang open. The advice dies in their throats. They spoke of balance. They spoke of human limits. But as the iron leaves the floor, they realize their mistake. They are judging a monster by the standards of men. Mugyeol Cha isn't crazy. He is simply too strong for their logic to comprehend. 550 pounds moves through the air with disturbing grace. To Mugyeol Cha, the iron feels hollow. It feels light. The disconnect between his perception and reality terrifies those watching. Kyle, the trainer, stared at the spectacle with a mix of awe and dread. He realizes that applying human logic to a monster is a fundamental error. But physics still applies. Kyle steps in with a necessary warning. If Mugyeol continues to chase raw mass, his speed will rot. In the weight class he targets, speed is not a luxury. It is survival. He proposes a shift. Don't just lift the dead weight. Explode through it. A regimen focused on flexibility. Balance. The violence of the lift combined with the fluidity of the strike. Mugyeol listens. He adapts. He executes the new form instantly. Kyle realizes the truth. This boy absorbs instruction like a black hole swallows light. But the game is safe. The real world demands payment in blood. The path to the championship is paved with broken bodies. Seok Jin-man steps into the line of fire. A stroke of luck, or perhaps a curse, hands him a title match against the champion. He replaces an injured contender. Jin-man is optimistic. He laughs off his own injuries. An ankle that hasn't healed. He believes bravery acts as a substitute for structural integrity. He intends to clear the path for Mugyeol. It is a noble thought. But the octagon does not reward nobility. The lights of the Seoul Gangchum Gymnasium illuminate the sacrifice. The audience roars for violence. They chant a single name. Ji Kang-ju. The Diamond Immortal. A fighter who built a kingdom on durability. He does not dodge. He trades hits. He banks on the fact that his bones are harder than his opponent's resolve. The bell rings. Seok Jin-man engages. He lands a clean strike. It connects flush with the champion's jaw. But there is no shock. There is no stagger. Jin-man realizes too late that he has struck a wall of wet concrete. The champion smiles through the blood. The counterattack is not technical. It is overwhelming. A slam shakes the foundation of the ring. Jin Man struggles, his strategy crumbling under the weight of superior physicality. The end is inevitable. In the third round, a hook finds its mark. Jin Man collapses. The match concludes not with a struggle, but with an execution. The Diamond Immortal retains his crown. Victory grants the champion a platform. In the post-fight interview, Ji Kang-ju plays the charismatic king. He jokes. He thanks the crowd. But when the interviewer mentions the name Mugyeol Cha, the atmosphere shifts. The champion does not dismiss the rising threat. He acknowledges the high schooler who hunts in the realm of men. But he issues a command. The light heavyweight division is unforgiving. If Mugyeol wishes to keep his face intact, he must prepare. He must gain weight. He must become a heavy object to survive the collision. In the aftermath, reality sets in. Seok Jin Man faces a 4-month medical suspension. He is out of the game. Mugyeol calculates the timeline. 6 months until the potential title match. 6 months to build the mass the champion demanded. But the trainers, Kyle and Ben, have returned to America. Mugyeol is alone. And he is hungry. He looks at the injured Jin Man. He does not see a friend in recovery. He sees a target. Mugyeol's eyes burn with a predatory light. He demands a spar. He needs to test his growing power against flesh, not iron. Jin Man sees the sudden madness in the boy's gaze. He is terrified. He is a middleweight champion, not a punching bag for a monster. To save himself, Jin Man deflects the boy's aggression. He tosses a pamphlet onto the table. If the boy wants to fight so badly, he can fight elsewhere. The scene shifts to the mats. The Mugyeol Jiu-Jitsu tournament. The air smells different here. It is the scent of grapplers. Arthur Marcello, the director, watches the proceedings. This is a place for technicians, not brawlers. Or so they think. Mugyeol stands at the edge of the absolute weight division, a category where limits are removed, typically reserved for black belts who have mastered the art of leverage. Mugyeol wears a white belt. The fabric is pristine. To the onlookers, he is a lamb walking into a slaughterhouse. But they cannot see what he sees. The system manifests before his eyes. A new mission is triggered. Trigger the Scorpion King. Win the championship title at the absolute weight level. Reward: 3,000 points. In the locker room, Mugyeol had stripped off his clothes. He revealed the density of his muscle to a shocked Jin Man. He declared he did not need a belt to win. He only needed a body. Now, standing on the mat, Mugyeol smiles. He is an apex predator disguised as a novice. The power of the white belt is about to be redefined. Silence falls over the arena. The lesson begins now. The arena buzzes with doubt. Spectators look at the mat. The absolute level. They see a white belt standing there. They see arrogance. They assume Mugyeol is just a striker, a mixed martial arts fighter lost in the deep waters of jiu-jitsu. They whisper that he underestimates the complexity of the ground game, that he will be humiliated. His opponent smiles. He is a seasoned practitioner. He trusts the established order. He looks at Mugyeol and sees a novice, a victim. He plans the victory in his head. Time the approach. Execute the takedown. Secure the guard pass. Score the points. He believes the collar of his belt is a shield. The whistle blows. The lesson begins. The opponent reaches out. He expects a struggle. He grabs only air. Mugyeol is not where he is supposed to be. Before the man can process the empty space, the world tilts. Mugyeol has already closed the distance. Gravity betrays the confident man. He hits the mat. In an instant, his arm is trapped. Pressure apply. No time to score points. No time to struggle. An incident. That is all it takes. The opponent taps the floor in frantic surrender. The crowd falls silent. They try to rationalize the violence. Maybe the opponent was careless. Maybe the white belt got lucky. But luck does not repeat itself with such precision. Second match. 7 seconds. A rear naked choke cuts off the blood to the brain. Third match. 14 seconds. A triangle choke locks the opponent into darkness. The pattern becomes undeniable. The Scorpion Championship is a sport. It operates on rules. Points for takedowns. Points for sweeps. Points for the map. It is a game of accumulation. A strategy of pressing the opponent to the edge before the clock runs out. Mugyeol does not care for their game. He ignores the points. He ignores the clock. In his world, you do not win by holding someone down. You win by breaking them. You win by making them sleep. He hunts only for the submission. 6 matches pass. 6 opponents fall. Not a single bout lasts longer than a minute. The blue belts, the higher ranks, they all collapse before the anomaly in the white uniform. He enters the 7th match. Another quick kill. He climbs the bracket with terrifying speed. The whispers in the crowd change tone. They are no longer mocking. They are asking how a white belt possesses such technique. They wonder if he intends to swallow the entire competition whole. Round 4. The 8th match. A new obstacle steps onto the mat. Yang Sihiko. Former UT. 195 centimeters. 110 kilograms. A human weapon. A wall of muscle that dwarfs Mugyeol. Seoko looks down at his smaller opponent. He calls Mugyeol an arrogant prick. He intends to use his massive frame to crush the insect that has crawled too high. The match starts. The size difference is oppressive. Mugyeol moves with caution. Physics is a cruel mistress. One mistake against this weight class means being crushed. They lock hands. The struggle begins. Seoko does not bother with finesse. He uses his weight. He pushes forward. Mugyeol attempts to use the momentum. He shoots for a takedown. But the giant does not move. The root is too deep. Seoko seizes the error. He wraps his thick arm around Mugyeol's neck. A guillotine choke. He leans his entire body weight onto Mugyeol, bending him backward. The crowd gasps. The white belt is trapped under the mountain. It looks like the end. But panic is a reaction for those who fear death. But Mugyeol does not panic. He lifts his hips. He explodes upward. He turns his body to create a fraction of space. The guillotine grip slips. Mugyeol spins. He escapes the choke and immediately isolates Seoko's arm. He transitions. Armbar. Seoko realizes his mistake too late. He grunts. He locks his hands together. He uses every ounce of his massive strength to keep his arm from snapping. He believes his power is absolute. He believes he can muscle his way out of the trap. Mugyeol feels the resistance. He does not fight force with force. He flows like water finding a crack in the stone. He abandons the arm bar. He shifts his weight. He wraps his legs around the giant's torso and traps the neck from a new angle. A crocodile choke. The leverage is applied. Seoko's massive neck muscles cannot protect the arteries. The blood stops. The air stops. The giant's eyes go wide with shock. The strength drains from his limbs. He taps. The mountain falls. The referee waves his hands. Mugyeol releases the hold. He stands over the defeated giant. 8 victories. 1 breath. The arena erupts. High in the stands, the black belts watch with grim expressions. They can no longer deny the reality. A man with long hair stares down at the mat. His eyes fix on Mugyeol. He admits he does not know who will win this tournament anymore. The belt is just a piece of fabric. The grade is just a number. The only truth is the last man standing. And for the first time, the predator in the stands feels the urge to descend, to test his fangs against the white belt. The digital coliseum is vibrating. Smartphones light up. Comments flood the feed. A single anomaly dominates the discourse. A white belt. A novice grade. 0 experience on paper. Yet, Mugyeol Cha sits in a plastic chair with the stillness of a deep ocean. Around him, the tournament is chaos. Inside him, there is only boredom. The stats don't make sense. 8 consecutive submissions. Opponents disqualified in 7 seconds. The belt system was designed to categorize threats. It has failed. It cannot measure the predator sipping water with dead eyes. The final match arrives. Hyo-ki-kun steps onto the mat. A brown belt. A man on the precipice of mastery. But he isn't focused. He is insulted. He stares at Mugyeol, waiting for a flinch. Waiting for recognition. There is none. Hikun demands an answer. He screams the name. He reminds the white belt of the Rurei. The mixed martial arts cage. The place where they first met. The place where Mugyeol humiliated him. Hikun's ego was a map of scars. He remembers being crushed by this boy. But today it is different. This isn't the cage. Striking is forbidden. The chaos of a brawl is replaced by the strict geometry of grappling. Hikun believes in his rank. He believes the white belt is an imposter who got lucky in a street fight. He intends to reclaim the honor stolen from him. The referee signals the start. Ki-kun moves first. He seeks a grip. He analyzes the regression. In the cage, Mugyeol was a purple belt level. Now he wears white. Ki-kun assumes the skill has faded with the rank. He pushes the pace. He intends to suffocate the boy. Mugyeol responds. Not with force, but with flow. He lets Ki-kun believe he is winning. As the brown belt presses, Mugyeol drops. He pulls guard. To the crowd, it looks like falling down. To a fighter, it is entering the spider's web. Ki-kun tries to pass. He tries to crush the legs. He tries to use gravity as a weapon. He thinks he is dominant. He is wrong. Mugyeol's legs become iron bars. He locks the lower body. The trap snaps shut. Gravity shifts. Mugyeol inverts. He spins upside down, rotating beneath Ki-kun like a gyroscope. The berimbolo. A high-level execution, using the opponent's own weight to destroy their foundation. Ki-kun panics. The floor is no longer where it should be. The white belt is everywhere at once. Ki-kun tries to stand. He tries to scramble, but Mugyeol is already attached to him, like a shadow, transitioning from the legs to the back. The escape fails. Mugyeol secures the position. His arm snakes under the chin. The choke is sunk deep before Ki-kun realizes he has stopped moving. The brown belt is helpless. Air leaves the lungs. Humiliation returns. Sharper than before. Ki-kun taps. The match ends. The white belt rises. The announcement echoes. Mugyeol Cha is the Scorpion King. Ki-kun stares at the ceiling. Twice he has met this boy. Twice he has been dismantled. He expects mockery. Instead, a hand extends. Mugyeol smiles. He calls him brother. It is a casual compliment. And it is the ultimate disrespect. It proves Mugyeol never considered him a threat to begin with. A system window flashes. Invisible to the world. Only Mugyeol sees it. The Scorpion King quest is clear. 3,000 points. Fuel for evolution. The points matter more than the gold medal. But the tournament is not over. A heavy presence descends from the stands. The chatter dies. A massive figure steps onto the mats. A gi that barely contains the frame. Arthur Marcelo, head coach of MM, Brazilian royalty. A kingdom on practitioners. He approaches Mugyeol. He speaks in broken English. He praises the submission. He saw the creativity. He admits the truth. Watching Mugyeol fight made his blood boil. A sensation he hasn't felt in years. Mugyeol bows. He knows who stands before him. Arthur ignores the pleasantries. He removes his gi top, revealing a physique carved from granite and violence. He issues a challenge. He knows Mugyeol is tired. He knows the bracket is finished. He does not care. He wants to test the winner himself. The crowd holds its breath. A white belt against a grandmaster. It should be a slaughter. It should be refused. Mugyeol does not refuse. The fatigue vanishes, replaced by hunger. He smiles. A predator recognizing another. He addresses Arthur as master. He asks to be taught. Mugyeol steps forward. He discards his own gi top. The white belt lies on the floor. Irrelevant. Two monsters stand on the mat. The system. The points. The bracket. None of it matters now. The only truth left is the collision. Arthur Marcelo narrows his eyes. He wonders if this outcast can carry the weight of a king. The lesson is about to begin. The noise of the crowd dies. It is replaced by a suffocating weight. The tournament has lost its mass. This is no longer a sport. When the shirts hit the mat, the rules dissolve. This isn't a master testing a student. It is two predators recognizing each other in the wild. The spectators think Arthur Marcelo has lost his mind. Why would a living legend strip away his defenses against a novice? They don't see what the master sees. The white belt is a lie. The rank means nothing. Only flesh and the will to survive remain. Arthur stares. Eyes that have watched stronger men collapse. He invites the violence. Let us see it, then. Mugyeol Cha stands exposed. That physique doesn't belong to a high school student. It is a weapon, forged in the fires of an unseen hell. He carries the heaviness of a fighter who refuses to stay dead. The bell rings. It's just a formality. They crash in the center. Skin slaps against skin. It echoes like gunshots. Hand fighting. Grit fighting. A frantic, violent scramble for dominance. The audience stops laughing. They expected a lesson. They are witnessing a war. Mugyeol doesn't flinch. He meets the legend's aggression with equal force. Sharp. Instinctive. Deadly. Arthur smiles. It is a terrifying thing to see. For decades, he has treated opponents like glass, holding back, afraid to break the fragile toys the world sent him. But today, the restraint is gone. He feels the boy's strength. Raw. Unrefined. Refusing to bend. He wonders how to break him. A naked choke. A triangle. The options are a feast. Time bleeds away. 2 minutes vanish in a blur. Arthur isn't tired. He is elated. He has found a creature that can withstand his play. He thinks of his son, Lucas, the only other being who could push him. Now, this outcast has stepped into that sacred territory. The fight hits the floor. The master elevates the game. The healer writhe the guard. Legs entwining with Mugyeol's. Controlling gravity. A technique for giants. Toppling mountains. The old man is having fun. Arthur spins. The world inverts. The berimbolo. A flute, rolling transition to take the back. Technical perfection. But Mugyeol is not a victim. He recognizes the danger. The memories inside him scream the counter. He fights the rotation. Kicking out. Using tension force to build a wall of iron. How is it? Arthur whispers, drunk on adrenaline. Me berimbolo. Mugyeol grinds his teeth. He isn't here for points. He isn't here for a medal. He wants to crush the man beneath him. He drives forward, trying to smash his face into the master, dominating through sheer brutality. Arthur feels the shift. This isn't the polite grappling of the arena. This is the old way. The street way. Arthur realizes the truth. If he keeps playing, he will be mauled. The pressure is suffocating. To survive, he must extinguish the flame. He abandons position. He seeks the neck. The arm snakes under the chin. Rear makes choke. The most primal submission. He cinches it tight, cutting off the carotid arteries. Blood flow to the brain stops. The world should go dark. The body should go limp. Mugyeol's eyes roll back. The lights above blur into a haze. The end is inevitable. Biology dictates that he must fall. But the monster inside does not care for biology. Is it the end? Arthur thinks. Waiting for the tap. Waiting for the silence. Not yet. A tremor runs through the mat. Not the shake of a dying animal. The rumble of an earthquake. Mugyeol plants his feet. Veins bulge against his skin. With the master of jiu-jitsu clinging to his back. With the choke fully locked. Mugyeol stands up. He defies gravity. He defies logic. He rises from the ground, carrying the legend like a backpack. Consciousness fading, but the will unbroken. Arthur's face twists in genuine shock. He stares at the side of the boy's head, unable to comprehend the impossible. How can the prey still stand? The floor of the arena vibrates. It isn't an earthquake. It is the shock of the impossible. Mugyeol Cha is standing. On his back, he carries the weight of a living legend. Arthur Marcello, a master of jiu-jitsu. A man who has broken spirits for decades, now locked onto Mugyeol like a parasite of death. Arthur's comprehension is shattering. He stares at the side of the boy's head. The choke is perfect. The leverage is absolute. By every law of anatomy, the boy should be limp. His brain should be starving. His leg should be jelly. But the artery under Arthur's forearm feels like a cable of steel. It does not collapse. The boy's pulse hammers against the hold. A drumbeat of defiance. Arthur searches for fear. He looks for the panic of a drowning animal. He finds nothing. There is no personal hatred in the boy's resistance. There is only a terrifying, stubborn obsession with victory. It is a mirror. In the boy's refusal to fall, Arthur sees a ghost. The ghost of his own past. The hunger that once drove him to the peak of the world. The master's blood begins to boil. He realizes he is no longer fighting a novice. He is fighting a force of nature. He tightens the vice. But gravity demands its due. Mugyeol shifts his weight. He doesn't try to pry the arms loose. He doesn't panic. He weaponizes his own fall. With a final surge of strength, he throws himself backward. The world flips. Two bodies, locked together, crash into the mat. The impact is a thunderclap. It silences the crowd instantly. Dust rises. The referee rushes in, his voice cutting through the reigning silence. He calls for a condition check. Arthur Marcello rises. He is shaken, but he is awake. He looks down. Mugyeol Cha is motionless. But he is not lying flat. He is not on his back in defeat. He is kneeling. His body is slumped forward, but his knees act as pillars. He lost consciousness before he hit the ground. The lights went out, but the body refused to collapse. Even in the dark void of a blackout, his will commanded his muscles to hold. Arthur stares. His breath is ragged. He laughs. A short, sharp sound of disbelief. He thought he was toying with a baby tiger, a creature to be tamed. He was wrong. He stepped into the cage with a baby dragon. The roar of the crowd fades. It is replaced by the sterile hum of the infirmary. Mugyeol opens his eyes. The white ceiling stares back. A voice asks him the date. Checking for brain damage. Mugyeol sits up. His body edges. But his mind is clear as glass. He remembers the dark is closing in. The naked Cho. A technique so simple, yet absolute. He touches his neck. He is not injured. Merely embarrassed. He had the audacity to think he could win. But the gap in skill wasn't a crack in the pavement. It was a canyon. One he could not jump. He makes a silent vow. The practice must intensify. The humiliation of defeat is not poison. It is fuel. The door opens. A figure in a white gi enters. Arthur Marcello. The atmosphere in the room shifts. Pressure drops. But the legend does not stand tall to gloat. He does not lecture. He drops to his knees. He places his hands on the floor. He lowers his head. A deep, formal bow. The air leaves the room. A Grand Master does not bow to a white belt. It violates the hierarchy. It breaks the laws of the martial arts world. Arthur ignores the rules. He pays tribute to the spirit he witnessed. He thanks Mugyeol for the passion, for reminding him of the heat of battle he had long forgotten. He apologizes. He admits he got carried away. The prey was too resilient. He used too much strength. Mugyeol is stunned, but he maintains his composure. He accepts the respect with humility. He admits his own desire was to win. A mutual understanding passes between warriors. Arthur smiles. The connection is forged. He confirms Mugyeol's identity as a fighter. Then, the offer. Come to Brazil. Visit the Gen. It is not a courtesy. It is a challenge to grow. Suddenly, the solemnity is pierced. A new voice. Young. Arrogant. Sharp. A man enters, tall and sharp-eyed. He warns Mugyeol to think twice. To agree to Arthur's teaching is to sign a contract with hell itself. Arthur snaps. He shouts in his native tongue. His face flushes with irritation. He denies the accusation. The younger man laughs. Arthur introduces the interrupter. Lucas. His son. Mugyeol's eyes narrow. The name strikes a chord. Lucas Marcello. The rumors have traveled across oceans. A rising star in the Brazilian circuit. The fact. 5 consecutive knockout wins. A striker being courted by the world stage. A rare gem in a family of grapplers. Lucas stands with the casual arrogance of someone who knows his own price. He looks at Mugyeol, measuring him. He notes that Mugyeol is inconsistent. A diamond in the rough that needs polishing. The banter between father and son is light, but the undercurrent is serious. Strength recognizes strength. They depart with a final wave, leaving Mugyeol with the promise of future violence and future training. The seeds of a journey to Brazil are planted. Mugyeol returns to his solitude. The lights of the arena are far away now. He is alone in his training space. But he is never truly alone. The system watches. A blue holographic window materializes in the air. A reward for the encounter. Hidden mission. Legendary tribute. Unlock. The first legendary game. Director. Arthur Marcello. D. 10,000 points. Mugyeol stares at the number. 10,000. It is a fortune. It is an impossible sum. But the description below the cost stops his heart. Once opened, the legendary game is a pocket dimension. A space where the laws of physics bend to the user's will. 5 hours inside this game equals only 1 hour in the real world. A room of time and spirit. A place where a fighter can steal hours from the day, compounding their growth while the rest of the world sleeps. It is the ultimate cheat. Unlimited access to the avatar of Arthur Marcello. Unlimited time to perfect the ground game. But the cost remains. Mugyeol checks his balance. He has just passed 5,000 points. He is halfway there, yet miles away. He cannot simply wait. The hunger that kept him standing in the chokehold now drives him to the interface. He cannot ignore the challenge. He needs points. He needs them now. He swipes the window away. He brings up the challenge mission. Third challenge mission starting. Current MA level. Plus. Goal. Creating a grade MA fighter. The difficulty curve is a vertical wall. To reach level D, he had to endure the simulation 90 times. 90 beings. 90 failures. Now, he aims for grade A. He does not hesitate. He activates the mission. The world dissolves. The training room is replaced by the digital cage. Across from him stands a blue construct. A glowing avatar of pure violence. The grade A fighter. Mugyeol steps in. He throws a strike. The avatar moves like water. A fist, blue and cold, slams into Mugyeol's jaw. The impact is immediate. The pain is simulated, yet real enough to rattle the bones. This is too harsh. The gap is too wide. But Mugyeol Cha does not stop. He steps forward again. The grind begins. If he wants the time, he must pay in blood. The simulation is a cold, indifferent hell. Mugyeol stands in the center of the digital octagon. Opposite him is perfection made of blue light. The avatar moves with a fluidity that mocks human bone and muscle. Mugyeol steps in. He tries to bridge the gap. Punishment is immediate. A fist heavy as lead, fast as lightning. It crashes into his jaw. The skull rattles. The pain is simulated, but the terror is real. This is too harsh. The skill gap isn't a crack. It's a canyon. The pressure radiating from the avatar is suffocating. But he doesn't yield. He presses the prompt. He steps forward. Counter. Punch to the face. Have. Kick to the ribs. Doof. Before he can process the trauma, he is swept. The world spins. Invis meets back. Have. The scene shifts. Reality snaps back. Wooden floor. Pooling sweat. Heaving chest. The silence breaks. A low rumble starts in his throat and erupts into a jagged, manic laugh. Ha ha ha. It is ridiculous. It is absurd. But as the laughter dies down, a cold realization settles in his eyes. This avatar. It isn't just good. It is the apex of violence. World championship level. A predator far beyond anything in the street or the local rings. A smile creeps across his face. Even better. If he can survive this. If he can overcome this monster. He will become something else entirely. He dives back into the nightmare. Boxing. Kicking. Wrestling. Jitsu. The avatar is a wall without cracks. Mugyeol realizes that speeding up only accelerates his defeat. He must tune the game. Slow the bleeding. He engages. He is thrown. Q. The system coldly announces the result. Challenge mission lost. He tries again. Challenge 6 of 300. The grind begins. Time compresses. The calendar turns. Mugyeol subjects himself to 10 ritual executions a day. Every day. For a month. He fights until his spirit is raw. While he battles ghosts, the world outside moves at a sluggish pace. He checks his phone. The news feed is scrolling. The Rafi light heavyweight title match is still unconfirmed. The champion, Ji Kangju, is barking at the cameras. I will destroy whoever my opponent is, Mugyeol's boss. The scheduling incompetence is annoying. His coach watches from the side, confused by the intensity. Why are you working so hard? There's a guy I really want to beat, Mugyeol says, lacing up. The coach assumes it is Ji Kangju. Mugyeol stops him. But the opponent in his mind, the blue ghost, is far superior. Stronger than Ji Kangju. The coach asks. Mugyeol strikes the heavy bag. The room shakes. Crazily stronger. Back in the machine. Challenge 18. 10 failures in a row. Mugyeol throws his body against the wall like an egg against stone. He switches styles. Boxing. Kickboxing. Grappling. The avatar adapts to everything. Challenge 141. Deep in the 5th round. Lungs burning. Mind fraying. He refuses the logic of defeat. He throws a desperate punch. The avatar moves to counter. But then. A slip. The blue foot loses traction. Mugyeol's eyes widen. It's flustered. Wait. Because of the unexpected. Mugyeol sees the opening. He does not hesitate. This might be it. He drives his fist into the face. It's in. Victory is fleeting. The avatar recovers instantly. A counter ends the simulation. Mission lost. Mugyeol sits in the game, analyzing the memory. It paid off. For a split second, Perfection crack. Wait. He looks at his notes. Stick figures and diagrams. Standard analysis is meaningless against a computer. To catch a machine off guard, he must execute the unpredictable. He must become chaos. Challenge 165. He launches himself into the air. Superman punch. Damage from distance. I need to exceed expectations. Challenge 177. Closing distance. Mixing strikes with grappling. Challenge 191. He attempts the Master Arthur Brimbolo. It forces a defense, but he succumbs to a lock. Challenge 211. Windmill kick from the canvas. Feinting a fall to strike from a blind ankle. He lands a hit. But tricks only work once. The windmill cannot last forever. He loses again. Adaptation is necessary. Mugyeol realizes his kicking game is too predictable. He stands before the heavy bag in the real world. He needs to maneuver differently. He sets up the motion for a standard mid-kick. Then, mid-trajectory, he feints. He rotates the hip, turns the knee over, snaps the leg upward toward the head. Whack. The heavy bag buckles. His coach stares. Eyes wide. You, where did you learn that? Mugyeol shrugs. No one tiny, just training flexibility. The coach is stunned. That Brazilian kick. He landed one by intuition. He pulls out his phone. He shows Mugyeol a video. Leo Pitoza. The epitome of the Brazilian kick. The technique is identical. Pitoza's kick is different from the imitators. The knee is almost fixed in midair, creating a unique angle. Most fighters mimic the move by combining kicks, slowing the tempo. A proper Brazilian kick circles around the guard. It strikes the head. It places tremendous strain on the knee, and requires freakish flexibility. I just need to build some flexibility, Mugyeol says casually. Let's try it right away. The coach shakes his head, amazed by the talent. Brazilian kicks can be quite challenging. Suddenly, a notification chimes. The coach freezes. His expression shifts from amusement to shock. Oh. He looks up at Mugyeol. Odil. The date has been set. The screen displays the official announcement. Of 117. A Kandufs Chamugdil. The headline screams. Zombies. Bomber showdown. Mugyeol cracks his knuckles. The training in hell is over. The title match is here. He has spent months fighting a ghost that makes champions look like children. Now, the world will see what he has become. The world is loud with the opinions of sheep who have never tasted blood. The internet buzzes. Skepticism floods the forums. The announcement is official. Ji Kangju vs Cha Mugyeol. A showdown between a zombie and a bomber. But the masses only see the numbers on the scale. Chairman Jan watches from his ivory tower. He analyzes the physics of violence. To move from middleweight to light heavyweight in a single month is a violation of natural limits. He notes the difference. 10 kilograms. It is a massive gap. He compares Mugyeol to legends who climbed weight classes, but he dismisses the possibility. The weight will be a suffocating shroud. The zombie, Ji Kangju, is known for resilience. A lighter man cannot simply knock him down. The public agrees. They type their doubts on glowing screens, mocking the challenger's arrogance. Mugyeol reads their words. His face is a mask of indifference. He shuts off the screen. The noise of the ignorant does not matter. Only the preparation for destruction remains. He descends into the digital void of his training system. He is not fighting a man. He is fighting a ghost. He seeks to master a specific weapon. The Brazilian kick. It is a deceptive strike. It rises like a front kick, then snaps downward over the opponent's guard. It is a strike from an invisible angle, but the system is unforgiving. Mugyeol throws the leg. The angle is too shallow. The virtual opponent reads the trajectory, catches the limb, executes a takedown. Failure follows failure. The screen displays the count. You lost the third challenge mission. 244 attempts. All failures. He sits on the canvas. Sweat pools around him. If the angle is shallow, he dies. He must create a trajectory that the eyes cannot track. He must leap over the guard. Challenge 278. He visualizes the arc. He throws the kick. The foot snaps down, bypassing the defense. Impact. He feels the connection. But once is not enough. He must replicate the lethality until it is in sync. Challenge 292. Only 9 attempts remain. The pressure mounts. He cannot simply rush in. He must bait the opponent. He moves. He creates the opening. The ghost responds. Mugyeol unleashes the Brazilian kick. It lands. He follows up, crashing into the dazed opponent, driving him into the fence, finishing the sequence with brutal efficiency. Challenge 299. Success. The system acknowledges the predator's evolution. The rewards are substantial. A status window appears. The numbers reflect his suffering. Wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and kicking have ascended to D+, but the most terrifying metric is his striking. Boxing has reached the pinnacle of A+. A hidden mission unlocks. 8,000 points granted. He sits in the quiet gym, stronger than he was an hour ago. The silence is broken by intruders. Kyle and Ben have arrived in Korea. They are ghosts from his past in America. But they look different. They have bulked up. They claim they are here to help. But their eyes betray a warrior's curiosity. They want to test the monster. They step into the ring. Words are unnecessary. Mugyeol accepts the spar. He needs to calibrate his new body. The session is violent and short. Mugyeol moves with the weight of a heavyweight and the speed of a phantom. Kyle and Ben feel the pressure immediately. They realize the truth that the internet commentators missed. Mugyeol is not just a challenger. He is a calamity waiting to happen. They take a break, breathless, realizing the training has turned him into something else entirely. The time for training ends. The time for the spectacle begins. The press conference is a sterile room filled with microphones and suits. Ji Kang-ju sits at the table, draped in the confidence of a champion. He wears a brown shirt and a smirk. He speaks into the microphone, dismissing Mugyeol as a middleweight tourist. He claims the heavyweights are a different breed. He predicts Mugyeol will regret stepping up. Mugyeol listens. He looks at the champion and sees nothing impressive. He leans forward. He tells the room that he came to see what a real heavyweight looks like. He tells them he is disappointed. He calls the division fate. The champion's smile vanishes. Rage flickers. Ji Kang-ju slams his hand on the table. The sound echoes like a gunshot. He warns Mugyeol to watch his mouth. Mugyeol smiles. It is a cold, predatory expression. He offers a suggestion. He tells the champion to think of a new ring name, because the current one will no longer apply. Mugyeol grabs the microphone. He looks directly at the cameras, then at the man he intends to dismantle. He makes his declaration. He will not just win. He will not leave it to the judges. He declares that he will make the champion, Ji Kang-ju, fall flat in the first round. The words hang in the air, heavy with the promise of violence. The silence before the destruction is over. Now, they wait for the bell. The crowd laughs. To them, the declaration of a first-round knockout is a joke. A script. Just noise designed to sell tickets. They compare Mugyeol to the trash talkers of the past. They call it drama. They dismiss the threat as a marketing ploy. They do not understand. For a man who has lived through the violence Mugyeol carries, truth is often stranger than the fiction they consume. But the machine keeps turning. The venue is upgraded to an Olympic arena. The tickets sell out. The world wants to see the outcast fail. They want to see the hierarchy reassert itself. Amidst the noise, the champion remains silent. Ji Kang-ju watches the footage. He analyzes the movement. He sees what the crowd ignores. In the solitude of his gem, Kang-ju studies the ghost. He notes the footwork, the rhythm. That is not the movement of a high school student. It is the movement of a predator. Kang-ju tests his own durability. He lets sparring partners strike him. He conditions his brain to ignore the shock. He believes his advantage lies in his eyes. He believes he can see the trajectory of violence before it lands. He plans to roll with the impact, to turn a fatal blow into a manageable collision. He is preparing to bleed in order to win. But there are shadows deeper than the octagon. In a quiet room, Chairman Jin pours a drink for the champion. The old man speaks with the warmth of a viper. He calls Kang-ju his son. He frames him as the true heir to the legacy. It is a psychological shackle, forged in gratitude, tempered by ambition. Kang-ju accepts the drink. He accepts the flattery. But he is not blind. He knows the chairman does not rely on faith alone. As he steps into the cage, he feels the weight of the preparation. The gloves. They are heavier than regulation allows. Tampered with. Loaded with lead. A dirty trick from a wily old man who refuses to leave anything to chance. The chairman wants Mugyeol destroyed. Fault. Kang Ju accepts the corruption. He is a professional. If the world hands him a weapon, he will use it. The lights of the arena are blinding. The cage door locks. The silence returns. Mugyeol stands across from the champion. The referee signals the start. Custom dictates a touch of gloves. A gesture of respect. Mugyeol ignores it. He does not move to touch gloves. He only moves to kill. The crowd gasps at the insult, but Mugyeol is already in motion. He closes the distance instantly. No probing jab. No feeling out process. Only the immediate application of force. Mugyeol throws a double jab. It connects. Kang Ju's head snaps back. The impact vibrates through his skull. It shakes his vision. This is not the power of a middleweight. It is heavy. Dense. It feels like getting hit with a hammer wrapped in leather. The champion is stunned. He expected speed. He did not calculate for this level of raw kinetic energy. Mugyeol does not pause. He flows into a barrage. Left, right, hooks and straights. He exploits the physical advantage. A reach of 210 centimeters against the champion's 197. 13 centimeters of distance that serve as a killing field. Kang Ju attempts to fire back. He throws counters into the gaps. He hits nothing but air. Mugyeol is a phantom. He strikes and vanishes. The champion is swinging at ghosts while his own face begins to swell. His eyes, his greatest asset, are failing him. He can see the attacks coming. But the physical disparity is too great. The realization hits Kang Ju harder than the fists. If he stays at this range, he will be dismantled. If he tries to box technically, he will fall. He feels consciousness slipping. One more clean hit ends the night. Desperation breeds innovation. Kang Ju drops his hands. He lowers his guard completely. Chin exposed. Chest open. He smiles. It is a grotesque expression. Blood smears his teeth. He taunts Mugyeol. He invites the outcast into the slaughterhouse. He decides to sacrifice his flesh to take the bone. He will eat the damage. All to land one clean shot with the loaded, lead-filled glove. In the VIP section, Chairman Jang watches with grim satisfaction. He sees the strategy. He expects the lead to shatter Mugyeol's jaw the moment the boy gets greedy. But the darkness outside the ring moves just as fast. A subordinate approaches the chairman. Trembling, he hands over a note. A message delivered before the match began. The chairman unfolds the paper. It is a warning. It suggests the chairman should mind his business elsewhere. It explicitly mentions the gloves. It threatens immediate media exposure. The chairman's face contorts. Rage. He crushes the note. He has been anticipated. The outcast is not just a fighter. He is playing the game on all levels. Even the cheating has been accounted for. Back in the cage, the psychological warfare escalates. Kang Ju stands defenseless. A monolith of muscle waiting to be toppled. He channels every ounce of focus into his counterpunch. He waits for the step. Mugyeol sees the open guard. He sees the invitation. And unlike a cautious sportsman, he accepts it. He steps in. Kang Ju's eyes widen. Here it comes. The champion plants his feet. He swings the loaded glove with everything he has, aiming to take Mugyeol's head off his shoulders. He is willing to take the hit. But confidence is often the precursor to ruin. Mugyeol does not just strike. He drives through the target. The two fighters collide in the center of the cage. A thunderous impact echoes through the arena. The sound of bone meeting flesh. Of ambition crashing against reality. The crowd roars. They are blind to the nuances of the lead. The blackmail. The possession. They only see violence. For once, the outcast and the champion share the same thought. Let's give it a go. The silence is over. Now, there is only pain. The cage door locks. But the real prison isn't the steel mesh. It's the sudden realization that you are inferior. The exchange starts with a dull thud. Leather against flesh. Kang Ju, the reigning champion, throws his weight behind a straight right. It connects. By every metric of combat sports, that is a career-ending hit. The impact shudders through the air. But the result defies logic. The champion expects the challenger to crumble. Instead, he feels the jarring recoil in his own shoulder. His feet slide backward across the canvas. The challenger, Mugyeol Cha, walks through the violence like a man walking through a light mist. Panic flickers behind the champion's bravado. This doesn't make sense, he thinks. I landed the hit. Why am I the one retreating? Mugyeol doesn't offer an answer. He offers pressure. He steps in. Suffocating calm. His fists fly. Short, compact hooks digging into the champion's ribs. The sound is wet and heavy. Kangju raises his guard. An admission of fear. The predator smells blood. Mugyeol's leg whips up. To the untrained eye, it looks like a standard low kick, but the trajectory warps midair. The knee snaps. The foot rises over the high guard. The Brazilian kick. It lands flush on the side of the head. For the champion, the world loses its axis. The roar of the crowd fades into a high-pitched ring. Vision blurs into a smear of lights. He wonders why the faces in the front row are upside down. He wonders why the floor is rushing up to meet him. Crash. The crowd erupts, screaming for the kill. Mugyeol stands over him. A dark silhouette against the blinding lights. He doesn't rush. He doesn't scramble. He steps forward with the measured pace of an executioner checking his equipment. He descends, looking to secure the ground, and pound. He rains down a hammer fist. But the champion's survival instinct flares. Kangju rolls, scrambling away, desperate to put space between himself and the monster. He manages to stand, swaying on unsteady legs. The commentator screams about resilience. They call it heart. In the shadows, we know the truth. It is merely the prolongation of suffering. They reset in the center. 2 minutes remaining. To the champion, it looks like an eternity. His knees tremble. Mugyeol resumes the dissection. He targets the body, punishing the liver, the spleen. 2 clean blows penetrate the defense. Kangju grits his teeth. His mind reduced to a single, desperate command. Endure. I just need one solid hit, he lies to himself. I must shake him. He watches Mugyeol's shoulders, hunting for a tell, praying for a mistake. And then, he sees it. The hip rotation. The weight transfer. The start of the kick that floored him moments ago. It is here, he thinks. The kick. He believes he has solved the puzzle. If he steps in, if he tackles while the leg is high, he can turn the tide. He steels himself, preparing to catch the limb. But Mugyeol Cha is fighting a different war. As the leg rises, Kangju drops his hand to catch it. He exposes his jaw, confident in his read. But the kick does not complete its arc. In a display of impossible joint control, Mugyeol retracts the leg mid-strike. The foot plants back on the canvas instantly. The champion's eyes widen in horror. He has fallen for the feint. He has opened the gate himself. Mugyeol throws a straight right hand into the void left by the lower guard. There is no defense. There is no endurance. The fist connects with the point of the chin, sapping the head back with violent finality. I am the champion, Kangju tries to scream in his mind. But the thought disintegrates. The lights go out. The body collapses, like a puppet with its strings severed, hitting the floor with a heavy, final thud. Eyes rolled back. Why? They can't. Mugyeol stands over the fallen king. He raises a fist, poised to deliver a follow-up. But he pauses. The referee dives in, crossing his arms frantically. The match is over. 3 minutes and 48 seconds. A knockout victory. Silence hangs for a split second before the arena detonates. A dual weight class champion is born. History written in sweat and blood. But Mugyeol does not bask in the adoration. He does not climb the cage. He turns slowly, chest heaving rhythmically, and locks eyes with a figure in the VIP seating. Chairman Jang. The old man with the silver beard and the cold eyes. The architect of misery. The chairman stares back, a mask of displeasure. Mugyeol's expression is unreadable, but his intent is projected with telepathic clarity. I told you. The thought travels across the distance. I came to crack skulls as a ground and bound fighter. A dark smile touches the corner of the new champion's lips. The belt is just a piece of metal and leather. The real prize is the fear he has just planted in the heart of his enemy. He promised to take them down properly. The champion was just the first step. The chairman is next. The crowd chants the name of their new king. Mugyeol. The arena vibrates. The shock wave of what they just witnessed is still settling in the air. To the naked eye, it was a victory. A technical masterclass. The spectators rave about the brilliance. The question mark tick. The Brazilian kick that snaked past the guard to find its mark. But the true horror of the match wasn't in the highlights. It lay in the invisible moments. Round 1. The opponent, Ju, threw a punch with the weight of a sledgehammer. A blow designed to delete consciousness instantly. Most fighters would have evaded. They would have run. Mugyeol Cha did not. He stepped into the radius of destruction. He walked into the fire. He absorbed the impact. A subtle shift of the head took the lethality out of the blow. But he let it land. He used the proximity to counterattack. He turned a moment of potential death into a reversed offensive. He forced the heavyweight champion into a shell. It was a display of endurance that defied biology. Now, the fight is over. Ji Kangju lies defeated on the canvas. Mugyeol extends a hand. He helps the fallen man to his feet. The audience applauds the sportsmanship. They see a gentleman champion. They do not see the predator, who has simply finished his meal. Kangju, battered and bleeding, admits the pain. He claims his head feels clearer after shedding blood. He vows to start from the bottom, to challenge the throne again. Mugyeol smiles. A polite, impenetrable expression. He tells the fallen champion that such a future will be difficult. With a few soft words, he effectively retires the man from his path. The announcer declares history. For the first time in the Federation, a fighter has conquered 2 weight divisions. The Outcast now holds the light heavyweight belt. Chairman Jang enters the octagon. He walks with the stiff gait of a man marching to his own execution. His internal monologue is a scream of regret. He thinks of the contract, the leash that was supposed to control the monster. 7 matches. That was the deal. If Mugyeol had lost even a single bout, the chairman would have won total control. But 5 matches have passed. 2 champions have been dethroned. The outcast remains undefeated. And now, the chairman is forced to smile while crowning the very threat he sought to destroy. Diane wraps the belt around Mugyeol's waist. He offers a rigid congratulations. Mugyeol leans in. His voice drops to a whisper meant only for the old man. He acknowledges the chairman's desire for his loss. He reminds Jang that 2 matches remain in the contract. The game is not over. Then, Mugyeol seizes the chairman's hand. He raises it high. The crowd roars. Dan attempts to pull away, but the grip is absolute. He is trapped in the center of the stage. Mugyeol lifts the microphone. He recounts his promise to conquer beyond the middleweight division. He dismisses his first belt, insulting the previous holder as unskilled. But he praises Ji Kangju. He elevates the value of his new trophy. Then, the trap begins to close. He publicly attributes his success to Chairman Jang. He claims that without the chairman, he would never have had this opportunity. He bows deeply. The crowd chants the chairman's name. They celebrate the promoter's vision. Jang is confused. He remembers the defiance of the past, the disrespect. He sees this sudden humility and convinces himself that the boy has finally matured. He believes that fame and gold have tamed the wolf into a hunting dog. He is wrong. The silence was not submission. It was the loading of a weapon. Mugyeol announces that he needs the chairman's help again. The screens above the arena shift. A new graphic appears. Mugyeol declares his invasion of the heavyweight division. The stadium erupts. A triple weight class conquest. It is the ambition of a lunatic. The fans lose their minds. Mugyeol turns to the frozen chairman. The microphone is still lit. He asks the crowd what kind of match would be most exciting. Should he fight a 10th ranked nobody? A 7th ranked gatekeeper? He mocks the idea of a warm-up fight. Jang whispers. He begs him to stop. He signals frantically for the audio to be cut. But the momentum is a landslide. Mugyeol wraps a muscular arm around the chairman's shoulders. He clamps him in place like a statue. He shouts to the crowd. He asks if they think small fries stand a chance against him. The crowd screams in denial. Mugyeol drives the final nail. He states he does not want to waste time. He demands a title match immediately. The chairman's face twists in helpless rage. He realizes he has been outmaneuvered. If he refuses, the riotous crowd will turn on him. If he accepts, he risks the final pillar of his organization. Mugyeol smiles. His face is radiant with false innocence. He asks the chairman for help. He declares to the world that Chairman Jang never lets the fans down. Jang curses internally. He realizes he is nothing more than a pawn in the fire's game. Mugyeol whispers his final gratitude. He tells the chairman he will enjoy the meal. The outcast has not just won a belt. He has consumed the entire federation. The world sees a golden belt. They see a miracle of flesh and bone. The crowd screams for the history being written in blood. But in the shadows, the analysts are trembling. The bearded commentator takes it back. He thought he knew the physics of violence. He was wrong. He warns his followers. Levels exist in this game. And Mugyeol Cha has ascended. He no longer needs weight classes. The logic of the ring has been broken. The coach revels in the victory. He talks about camaraderie. About respect. Mugyeol just offers a hollow smile. He plays the part of the humble student. But his mind is elsewhere. Calculating the next conquest. The applause is just white noise. A chime rings in the silence of his mind. The system speaks. Score exceeds 10,000 points. A new door opens. The legendary game. Mugyeol steps into the void. It shifts into a coliseum. Ancient stone. Digital light. He is not alone. Standing in the center is a ghost. Director Arthur Marcillo. No greetings. No warm introductions. This is a boss battle from the first second. The legend beckons him forward. The sparring isn't training. It is a systematic dismantling. Mugyeol is broken down. Rebuilt under the crushing pressure of a master's spirit. Every night, in this virtual hell, his jiu-jitsu is sharpened against a whetstone of perfection. In the waking world, the torture turns physical. To conquer giants, he must become a titan. He lifts iron until his muscles scream. He eats until his stomach revolts, force-feeding the furnace. The coach watches with awe and fear. 193 centimeters. 86 kilograms. The boy who was once bullied is gone. Buried under layers of dense, lethal muscle. The silence of the gym breaks. Clicking shoes. Men in black suits. The chairman's hounds. They demand his presence. But the hierarchy has shifted. Mugyeol does not drop the weights. He does not scramble. Plank. Plank. The rhythm of metal drowns out their authority. He lectures them on appointments. He makes the messengers wait like children. He moves only when he is ready. 3 hours later, Mugyeol sits in the private tea room. Chairman Zheng pours a drink. The architect of this corrupt empire. He wears the mask of a benevolent grandfather. He speaks of settlement money. Of billions earned by obedient champions. He tries to dazzle Mugyeol with gold. To leash the beast. Mugyeol stares right through him. This supposed who Denslaw falters. His eye twitches. He pivots. Appeals to fame. To the roar of the fans. Promising the ultimate franchise spot. If he stays loyal. But Mugyeol isn't looking for a career. He is looking for a conclusion. He cuts off the emotion with cold business. The contract. 7 matches. Defeat means renegotiation. But Mugyeol does not intend to lose. He leans across the table. His presence fills the room, suffocating the air. He mocks the chairman's fear. This isn't a sport anymore. It is a battle for Zhang's survival. Mugyeol leaves with a final order. Prepare the strongest opponent you can find. Left alone, Zhang's composure shatters. He crushes the porcelain cup. Blood mixes with the tea. The outcast dared to threaten the king in his own castle. Retaliation is swift. News breaks immediately. The current heavyweight champion retires. 15 years of dominance. Gone overnight. The title is vacant. Mugyeol sees the strings being pulled. Zhang is clearing the board. Introducing a specific piece. An interim title match is set. A newcomer enters. Marko Bukovic. The match is a slaughter. Mark arises as the new champion. Southpaw. Counter specialist. Black belt in jiu-jitsu. The analysts realize the truth. This man wasn't brought in to compete. He was brought in to execute. The perfect stylistic kryptonite for Mugyeol. Mugyeol's coach panics. He sees the trap. But Mugyeol only smiles. The coach doesn't know about the virtual coliseum. He doesn't know Mugyeol has been drowning in deep waters. Surviving the legend's guard. The counter specialist is walking into a trap of his own. Press conference day. Doubts circulate. A fighter jumped 3 weight classes. Is the bulk real? The doors open. Flashbulbs explode. Mugyeol walks in. The suit does nothing to hide the violence of his frame. He is massive. Calm. Terrifying. He stands before the world. Not as an underdog. But as an inevitability. The chairman set a trap. But he only succeeded in feeding the beast. Darkness. The virtual training space doesn't care about fairness. Time here is a cruel variable. 2 hours of reality bleed into 10 hours of agony. Mugyeol breaks his body against a ghost. a phantom of his master. He throws jabs until his muscles fail, until his consciousness blurs. He is forging iron. He is making himself denser, sharper. He has entered the heavyweight division, but he is a middleweight walking among giants. 80 kilograms against monsters. Physics says he dies. His master says he wins. Weight is a luxury. Technique is absolute. The strategy is cold. He will not avoid the enemy's strength. He will dismantle it from the inside. The press conference. A theater of insecurity. Marko Bukovic fills his suit with muscle and arrogance. He represents the established order, the hierarchy of size. To him, Mugyeol is a glitch, a striker trying to swim in deep waters. Bukovic promises a simple execution. He claims Mugyeol will be on his back before he realizes the fight started. He speaks with the confidence of a man who has never touched a ghost, but a whisper has crossed the ocean. Arthur Marcillo, the legend, the pinnacle. He saw the untamed violence in Mugyeol. He felt the heat of the white belt's ambition. This endorsement ruts inside Bukovic's pride. A black belt cannot stand that the king noticed a peasant. Mugyeol dissects him. No shouting, just surgical precision. He holds the microphone loosely. He asks the question that kills the mood. If the great organization is so superior, why are they desperate to crush a beginner? Why does the giant tremble at the mouse? He calls the champion a sandbag, an insult wrapped in logic. Bukovic stands up, baited, composure shattered. Then, the final decree. Mugyeol announces it to the world. He won't just strike. He won't dance around the grappler. He looks the man in the eye. He will make a black belt tap out. He will beat the master at his own game. Fight night. The stadium screams. But the real eyes are up high. Chairman Jiang. The VIPs. Looking down like vultures. They fear the variable. They need Mugyeol to lose. To be humbled. They need a product they can control. Bukovic is their weapon. Designed to ground the striker and suffocate the height. The script is written. The cage locks. Mugyeol stands across from the heavyweight ace. Stripped of the suit, he looks light. Small. He offers a hand. Sportsmanship. Bukovic sees meat. He ignores the glove touch. He launches a surprise attack. A desperate dive for the legs fueled by rage. He wants to end it now. It is a mistake. Mugyeol reacts. A sprawl that defies his weight class. Hips drop. Heavy. Precise. He crushes the momentum of the black belt. It moves like water, but hits like a falling boulder. The crowd freezes. The rules of physics just left the building. Bukovic scrambles. He is a veteran. He shakes off the shock and drives into the clinch. He digs for an underhook. He uses his mass to shove Mugyeol against the cage wall. The grinder. This is where the striker should panic. This is where the drowning begins. Bukovic expects flailing. Instead, he feels stability. Terrifying stability. Mugyeol does not flinch. He is rooted to the earth. Bukovic pushes, but the wall does not move. Confusion flickers in the champion's eyes. The strength gap was a lie. A shift of leverage. Mugyeol shatters the illusion. He doesn't just escape the cage. He reverses the world. He spins Bukovic. Strips him of his balance. Strips him of his dignity. The grappler is thrown. The white belt descends. Mugyeol settles into the dominant position. Out. He sits atop the man who promised to teach him a lesson. The silence of the shock is deafening. Mugyeol looks down. No triumph. Just cruel curiosity. He is ready to rub salt into the wound. The lesson had begun. But the teacher has changed. The lesson in humility continues on the canvas. Bukovic moves. The black belt. The man who claimed grappling supremacy. He attempts a sweep to regain his footing. It is a desperate, textbook maneuver. Mugyeol does not panic. He simply lifts a leg. He steps over the attempt with the indifference of a man stepping over a puddle. The counter is fluid. Immediate. Mugyeol transitions to the side, driving his shoulder into the Serbian's neck. A suffocating pressure that demands a response. Bukovic thrashes. He manages to free his upper body, but every inch of space he gains is a gift Mugyeol allows him to have. A gift given solely to set the next trap. Mugyeol seizes the arm. He twists into a Kinrus setup. The attack is relentless. Attack. 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 Bukovic spins out. His experience sates his joints by a fraction of a second. But his escape route leads him directly into the jaws of a guillotine choke. The cage becomes a blur of technical violence. Mugyeol uses the black belt's own momentum as a weapon. Vukovic raises his posture to defend. Mugyeol adjusts. Vukovic disentangles his legs. Mugyeol moves to guard. It is a continuous cycle. A loop of guard passes and submission attempts. The audience watches in stunned silence. They expected a slaughter of the white belt. Instead, they are witnessing a master dissecting a student. In the stands, the experts scramble for rationalizations. They question if Vukovic is injured. They wonder if his rhythm is off. But the truth settles over the arena like a cold fog. The Serbian fighter is in peak condition. The problem is not his weakness. It is the white belt's anomaly. The old master in the audience realizes the terrifying reality. The skill gap between the two men is vast. But it is the white belt who looks down from the summit. Mugyeol twists his body. He snaps into an armbar. The crowd gasps. Vukovic's face contorts. He rips his limb free from the hyperextension, sweat pouring from his brow. But there is no respite. The moment the arm is free, Mugyeol's legs figure four around the neck. A triangle choke. Vukovic is drowning in deep water. He realizes with horror that his technique, refined over years, feels rudimentary against this monster. He feels the crushing weight of a skill disparity that simply should not exist. Desperation breaks his resolve. Vukovic abandons the pure grappling contest. He postures up. He begins to rain down heavy punches. If he cannot out-wrestle Mugyeol, he will bludgeon him. The strikes fall like thunder, pounding toward the face. Mugyeol does not blink. From his back, the defense is impenetrable. He blocks the barrage with his forearms and palms. His eyes track every trajectory. Vukovic swings with the intent to destroy. But he hits only the barriers Mugyeol places in his path. The black belt realizes his opponent is predicting the future. Every shift in weight, every tensing of muscle, Mugyeol sees it before it happens. Vukovic tries to stand, to retreat to a vertical base. But Mugyeol clings to him, a predator refusing to let its prey escape. He drags the fight back to the floor. Vukovic's lungs burn. His mind fractures. He realizes that Mugyeol has kept his word. The white belt is using only grappling techniques, yet he is dominating a specialist in his own domain. It is not stubbornness. It is a statement of absolute superiority. The buzzer sounds. The first round ends. Mugyeol releases his grip. He has claimed the round with 4 minutes of total submission control. It is a humiliation. In the corner, the coach delivers the harsh truth. Pride is a luxury the loser cannot afford. He orders Vukovic to abandon the grappling ego. Use the jab. Counter the backhand. Take him down only after striking. The strategy shifts from proving a point to simply surviving. Winning by any means necessary. Round 2 begins. Vukovic steps to the center. Stripped of his arrogance, he walks toward Mugyeol and extends a gloved hand. He touches gloves. It is an unusual gesture for the start of a second round. It is an apology. An admission that he was narrow-minded. That he underestimated the predator standing before him. He pays his respect to the monster. Mugyeol accepts the gesture. The pleasantries end. Vukovic takes his stance. His eyes are hard. He declares internally that the grappling match is over. He will now deploy every weapon in his arsenal. Striking, clinching, wrestling. He will fight to the death. Mugyeol smiles. He welcomes the escalation. The handicap is gone. The real violence begins now. The pretense of a grappling match dissolves. Vukovic looks into the abyss of the skill gap and sees the truth. He cannot win here. To survive, he must drag this conflict into the mud, into the brutality of mixed martial arts. He decides to empty the arsenal. Striking, clinching, wrestling. He believes the chaos of total combat will level the playing field. He is mistaken. Vukovic initiates the violence. He throws a punch, marking the transition from sport to war. Mugyeol Cha does not flinch. He observes the incoming fist with the detached gaze of a predator watching a rabbit struggle. He dodges calmly. The shift in rules changes nothing. Vukovic retreats to the fundamentals of the heavyweight division. Reach. Mass. He fires a barrage of jabs, trying to control the distance. Trying to force Mugyeol into a defensive shell. He calculates that a 10-kilogram weight difference is a wall that cannot be breached. He expects desperation. He waits for Mugyeol to swing while. It is a trap. Vukovic throws light jabs, baiting a slip. preparing a spinning backhand designed to crush a human skull. He executes the feint. The backhand slices through the air, but there is no target. Mugyeol Cha has already vanished from the kill zone. To him, the deception was clumsy. Obvious. He does not just evade. He counters. Vukovic retreats, resetting his guard. He prays his durability will hold. He waits for the heavy blow. But Mugyeol does not offer him the mercy of a single, massive impact. Instead, Mugyeol dissects him. Short, invisible punches penetrate the guard. They strike with the precision of a scalpel. A jab. A hook to the liver. The rhythm of the heavyweight is shattered. Vukovic realizes too late that these are not light taps. They are strikes imbued with soul-crushing intent. Pain blooms behind the guard. Vukovic swings, but he strikes only shadows. Mugyeol walks through the fire with his hands down, slipping punches by millimeters. He knows exactly where the fists will be. He lands a clean combination. 1, 2. The heavyweight's face is a mask of blood and confusion. The clinic is over. Mugyeol decides it is time to close the show. He steps in, grappling the head. Vukovic braces for a takedown, but Mugyeol is already securing the neck. He drags the giant down. He weaves his arms and legs into a complex, suffocating knot. A Peruvian nakti. The technique leverages the entire body to crush the carotid arteries. Vukovic struggles, but the darkness is already closing in. The oxygen is cut off. The giant taps. In the second round, after 2 minutes and 36 seconds, the match ends. Submission knockout. Vukovic sits on the canvas, utterly defeated. He admits the truth. He was outclassed in every dimension. Striking. Grappling. He offers his gratitude for the lesson. Mugyeol accepts the victory without arrogance. He acknowledges that Vukovic has surpassed the domestic level. But his eyes are already drifting away from the cage. The fight is over. But the hunt is not. High in the stands, Chairman Jang Young-gil attempts to flee. He has witnessed another failure. 6 out of 7 opportunities to destroy Mugyeol Cha have been squandered. He turns his back, intending to slip into the darkness. Mugyeol Cha takes the microphone. His voice commands the arena. He calls out the name of his tormentor. Chairman Jang freezes. Mugyeol smiles. It is a terrifying expression. He addresses the audience, weaponizing their iteration. He asks them a favor. He asks them to applaud the chairman. The crowd, ignorant of the malice beneath the request, erupts. They become a mob. They surround the fleeing chairman. They lift him, cheering, and carry him like a sacrificial offering toward the octagon. The chairman is dumped onto the mats. Disheveled, terrified. He looks up to see Mugyeol Cha towering over him. The predator closes the trap. Mugyeol speaks into the microphone, ensuring every word is recorded by history. He announces that with the heavyweight title now in his possession, he has conquered this stage. There is nothing left for him here. He leans in. His smile widens. He publicly thanks the chairman for a promise that was never made. He declares that Chairman Jang has agreed to help him transition to international organizations. The lie binds the chairman in chains of public expectation. Jang stares in horror. He never said that. But as the crowd roars its approval, he realizes he has no voice to deny it. Mugyeol Cha has not just won the fight. He has stolen the future. The stage is set for a tournament that was meant to be a cage, but has instead become a reunion with a ghost from Mugyeol's past. Next time, the hunt for retribution moves beyond the ring as the real war begins. If you're enjoying this journey, please leave a like and subscribe to follow the rest of the series. Thanks for watching.